Not really, but it's still another thing that the sheriffs can help prevent abuse at the court level as well. We have several sheriffs across the country who've told judges no, who have actually consulted with judges and said, "Hey, I'm not going to serve this warrant. I'm not going to serve this foreclosure. It's done wrong." And some judges have said, "Oh yeah, you're right. That wasn't done properly, and I'll back you on that." There was a few judges in Arizona when the idiotic program called photo radar was on our freeways there, and we fought that and finally got rid of it. There was a few judges, one in particular, that said, "You bring me any of those tickets and anybody that contests them, and I'll throw them out because they're a violation of the Constitution." So if the judges will follow the Constitution in their courtrooms, then we're going to really make headway here. But the first line of defense is the sheriff, and he's also the last line of defense.
One last thing I want to ask you before we get into talking about the Constitutional Sheriff's Gathering that is coming up. And that is that, what are your thoughts about what just happened at the Republican National Convention to exclude Ron Paul delegates for nomination? And considering what just happened, what's left outside of an armed revolution for people seeking justice and the rule of law?
Well, again, if you look at the political structure of America from the Republican national point of view or the Democrat national point of view, it's all a bunch of it's a crock of crap. It's BS. It's all corruption, and I don't support any of it. So that this will do any good, I kind of doubt it. I was also kind of taken aback by Ron Paul wanting to play the game with the Republicans at all, and it looked like he was trying to negotiate with them that he would support Romney as well if he was allowed to speak at the convention. He said he wouldn't allow the Romney camp to determine what he would say. So Romney said no, and then Ron Paul said no. So the political games continue, and the corruption continues, and I still maintain that there is a solution to a lot of this, but it sure the heck isn't at the RNC or DNC or in Washington, D.C. So you can use all those C's, and you're not going to get anywhere. The place that we really make a difference is at the county level, and that's what we're doing.
And now let's talk about that. Next week, you're hosting the Second Constitutional Sheriff's Conference in Las Vegas. Where and when will it take place, and what kind of events and activities will be going on there?
Well, I want you to know, first of all, that there's a sponsor of yours who is also a sponsor of ours, and that's Freeze Dry Guy. That's a great company. I get food every month for me and my family from Freeze Dry Guy. He's going to be there. The Freeze Dry Guy will have a booth, and they are, like I say, Gun Owners of America and Freeze Dry Guy are two of our biggest sponsors. John Birch Society is another. But Freeze Dry Guy has been supporting us in this all along. He was at our last one, and he has helped sponsor sheriffs to attend. We're having other officials as well, local officials, if they will erect the barriers, and that's a term used by James Madison, considered the father of our Constitution. If the states will erect the barriers against encroachments of the national authority, we can keep them in check, and that's exactly what the 10th Amendment is about. And so the activities that we're going to have there are the most powerful will come from presentations done by sheriffs all across this country who are already doing these types of things, who are already standing against the incursions of the federal government. And this is exactly why we want to have this convention, so we can videotape it, we can show the evidence, we can show the proof to every American who's not able to attend that indeed there is a solution, there really is hope for America. And I've had so many people that have been a part of this have said that over and over. For the first time in a long time, I really have hope that there really is a legitimate plan of attack that is peaceful and effective, and we don't have to resort to arms. And if we get our sheriffs and local officials on board, Brent, then we will keep this effective and peaceful. We will be able to take our Constitution back. We're going to prove that in Lincoln County, New Mexico. If Dr. Seidel is elected, we're going to create a free county. And there's other sheriffs right now who are doing the same. And we hope to get behind these sheriffs. We want them to form their posses and get the people and the citizens more involved in this process. Again, this is, as Patrick Henry called it, the holy cause of liberty. That should be what we are engaged in every county in this country. Everybody, I want to make this very clear. Everybody listening to this program right now is welcome to attend this convention. We're having it on Constitution Day. That's September 17th. Come and be with us and see for yourself what a tremendous program we have. What a tremendous solution we are a part of, that we're building, that we're magnifying. And so it's just vital that people who can attend come. And if you can't attend, come anyway. And if you really, really can't come anyway, then make a donation at cspoa.org and help this thing be successful. Everybody can do something, and all of us should. Because if we sit back and say, oh, well, you know, Sheriff Mack's going to vote for Romney, so I'm not going to help with this freedom cause. Oh, you know, that's absurd. Let's stand for freedom and do what we're supposed to do, and as Americans, stand together in this holy cause. We can still take this back. I know we can. It's been working. We've got proof. Come and see for yourself.
Now, where in Las Vegas is it being held?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's at the South Point, and that's kind of the last hotel as you're heading out I-15 towards California. So the South Point Hotel, there's a little reception on Sunday evening, the 16th, for those who have come in that evening. And then the next morning, there's registration starts at 7 o'clock, and then the whole thing starts at 8 o'clock. We've actually got another radio host, Beth Ann, who took over for Derry Brownfield. She's singing the national anthem for us on Monday morning. And then we're going to have Michael Badnarik talk about the Bill of Rights. I'm going to be talking about some of the other Supreme Court decisions that have totally reduced, or not have totally reduced, but totally declared that the federal government does not have authority to be running our lands, our homes, and health care and education and families and every facet of our lives. There's been 4 Supreme Court decisions that have made that very clear. One of them you might be very familiar with. It's Mack Prince versus U.S., and that was the case that I won at the U.S. Supreme Court, along with Sheriff Prince. And all of this makes it very clear that the 10th Amendment still is the ultimate check and balance on federal authority. We will be going over that, and then the sheriffs who are in attendance are going to take these things back to their jurisdictions and back to their sheriff's associations and back to their police agencies, and working hopefully for one goal and one goal only, to restore our Constitution county by county.
Now, let's for a moment talk. Oh, first off, I thought it was the 16th to the 18th, meaning Sunday till Tuesday. So it is. It's not just Monday. It's also going on Tuesday.
Yes, and then Tuesday morning we'll finish up and we'll have lunch, and then it's over, and then we're going to have some breakout sessions. So anybody who needs to leave Tuesday afternoon can, but we're going to have Joe Bannister there and Larry Becraft, and we're trying to get General Boykin, and we're going to have breakout sessions with some of these people, and people who just want to meet with them and discuss some other matters will be able to do so.
And this
so
is also,
we're trying to accommodate every facet here.
This is also a great place, I'd imagine, for candidates for sheriff to come as well, I would think.
Yeah, we have several. We have about 10 sheriff candidates attending. Yes, you're right.
That's excellent. Now, you mentioned the sheriffs take back what they learned to the sheriffs associations. Hasn't there been a certain degree of political game playing with the sheriffs associations? Aren't there some sheriffs associations that feel that what you're doing in some way threatens their status quo?
Oh yes, definitely. Oh yes, and in a lot of ways they're right. It does, because I'm against the hobnobbing that they do with the federal government in taking their money, And the National Sheriff's Association is the most guilty of that, and I've made no secret of that. And they don't like me at all, and they've tried to shut me up, and they've attacked me. And I've got a letter here in my hand from one of their big highfalutin lawyers that's trying to intimidate me. But I have my eye on the target. And the target is constitutional sheriffs being created all across this country. There's 3,078 sheriffs in this country, and we hope to really have about 10 to 15 to 20% of them on board, keeping their oath, following the Constitution, putting freedom first, and continuing their interposition on behalf of the American people in their counties. And the theory of interposition was introduced by Madison and Jefferson in their Kentucky and Virginia resolutions. We are definitely talking about that. We're talking about nullification at a state level, at the county level, and at the sheriff level, and at the jury level. So we are expanding all of this. There's nothing that's subversive about this. It's all patriotic, American, and constitutional precepts and principles. And I think it's time that we actually kept our oath and took it seriously in America, that we will not take an oath and then become liars and hypocrites the very next day.
And I presume that you're also going to be instructing sheriffs in attendance that they don't have to blindly obey what corporate, state, and federal authorities and officials say that they have to do.
That's actually my presentation. And in my presentation, I'm saying that, and I actually do a clip from Cool Hand Luke. You remember the movie with Paul Newman?
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's a classic movie, but there's a classic line in there, Brent, and you can see it on YouTube. And it's one of the times that Paul Newman, the Luke character, gets in trouble, and they're putting him in that little outhouse-looking shack. I guess it's the sweat box. And it's real torture to be in there. And the guy is handing him a bucket, and he goes, "Luke, I hope you can appreciate that I'm just doing my job. I don't want to put you in here, but I'm just doing my job." And the next line from Cool Hand Luke is absolutely classic, and we're going to be playing this and talking about it. He says, "Calling it your job don't make it right, boss." And so that's really going to be a theme of this whole thing, is that we say that we follow orders, that we're just following legislatures, and that we're enforcing laws. Well, my decision by Judge John Roll said Mack was forced to choose between keeping his oath or obeying the law, subjecting himself to possible sanctions. And Brent, that is going to be part of this presentation of mine, and other sheriffs as well.
Fantastic.
That when we're forced to choose between keeping our oath or obeying the law, we will side with the Constitution, we will keep our word, and we will follow the Constitution and principles that this country was founded upon.
And just a reminder that the Constitution is the supreme law. And so when you're keeping your oath to your Constitution, your oath to the Constitution is indeed keeping to the law. It is the law that violates the Constitution that is flawed and is wrong.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly.
And we want sheriffs who know the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, sheriffs who attended the conference earlier in the year, in January, February, will they be attending, or do they figure that we don't have to attend this because we went to the first one, or are they becoming part of a growing cadre of constitutional sheriffs?
Some are coming back, some are not. Some said, well, I came to the first one, and some of them are in the middle of heated campaigns. So we're definitely having a different group this time. We are having some of them back, and some of them are speakers. We're having new speakers, and we're having some of the same speakers. We're also having a presentation from Ken Ivory, who's a state rep in Utah. He has proposed legislation to take land back away from the federal government and give it back to Utah where it belongs. That is such a novel approach and a courageous approach and a proper approach that we just had to have him talk about that. We also have a sheriff from Michigan who's going to be presenting a resolution that they've been promoting in his county to stand against drum roll please, thank you, the NDAA. So they're actually promoting a resolution and legislation to stop the NDAA in its tracks. And of course, if you have a constitutional sheriff, you can be protected from anything that Washington, D.C. and the United Nations is trying to shove down our throats.
If I'd known, I would have had it ready. It's a little after the fact. What can I say? CSPOA. Your website is cspoa.org, Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. I assume people can get the address where they can send donations and information about the conference and everything from that website. Is that correct?
Yes, and we accept silver, gold, cash, FRNs, money orders, personal checks. Whatever you can send, we're asking for it. We need you there. We need your help. This is just a grassroots deal. We've done all the fundraising just from people like you and your listeners, and that's how we do it. And I've made commitments to a lot of other sheriffs and people who want to attend that we'll pay for their hotel and their food while they're there. And I sure hope I'm able to keep my word to them. There's some people who simply won't really want to be there who can't afford to be there. A lot of these sheriffs have been having their departments slashed budget-wise, and we need them there. And so we're still having sheriffs sign up, we're having deputies still sign up, and we're still having candidates who are running for sheriff sign up. We're inviting sheriffs, public officials of all kinds, judges, county commissioners to our next one, state reps. We hear from everybody every day. Yesterday, our phones were ringing off the wall. My wife and I worked 12 hours yesterday. My assistant, Tanya, worked about 15 hours yesterday.
Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there so I can give out the contact info. It's www.cspoa.org. cspoa.org. Folks, just so you know, I don't give to charities. I don't give to places. I have given and continue to support the CSPOA. This is a worthwhile cause. Sheriff Richard Mack, thank you so much. God bless you, and the best of fortune. Let me know how it goes next week in Las Vegas.
I sure will, Brent. And thank you so much.